Everyone, hope everything is going well. All right, let me just put this thing on over here. Let's do the countdown. Hey everyone, hope everyone is doing well. All righty, hope you're having a nice Saturday night. It seems like a lot of interesting things have been happening. I don't know what just happened here. Okay, sorry about that. I was listening to myself on YouTube, so I was confused why I was hearing myself. But anyways, let's take a look at some of the comments here, and then I'll continue on what I was saying. Patches, what's going on? Soy boy Bills team was ruined by the Phillies. Oh man, yeah, I'm pretty sure he is not too happy tonight, but I will be speaking to that soon. Brendan Ryan, what's going on, man? What's going on? You should come on one of these days for a live stream on here. We could talk about tinfoil hat stuff and coins and the card market in general. But yeah, this week was one of the interesting weeks. Actually, it's nothing new where, people want to take shots at me. It's going to happen. And sometimes I'm going to react, sometimes I'm not. And this time, I decided to react. Let's look at this. Brandon Ryan says, "I'll do it if John does." Yeah, I would like to see John on a live stream. He did I think, a stream the other day. I didn't watch it, but yeah, that would be interesting. Him like cursing me out, I would be up for that. Just taking a look at that. Elegant Elliot says the Bane Shows need their petition signed. Oh man, you know your language pretty well. But yeah, speaking of that petition, now that you've brought it up, so what's his name? Ephus Pitch, if I'm pronouncing his name correctly on Instagram, aka Bill, who I met at the P Ryan breakfast in Chicago, by the way. Right, he was very nice there. Everyone was nice there, but behind a keyboard, people tend to change their behavior. So yeah, I just found that really interesting. But anyways, so I guess what happened was he started a petition. I thought that, okay, you're at least trying to do something about it, and I just did a video saying, hey, look, basically good effort. And the thing is, number one, even though I thought it was a good effort, it wouldn't do anything. And the reason why it won't do anything is, look, he's tied to the elites, Ruben. So you have to do something, in my opinion, that's aggressive. So, you know what? If you don't do anything that's aggressive, they won't do anything about it. If you have a petition, guess what? You need to have multiple people that will impact the bottom line. Just signing a petition won't do anything about that. Let's take a look at this. Okay, you're saying that bill is greater than AIH. Okay, that's fine. That's your opinion. Everyone, you provide necessary content, but that stuff puts me to sleep, to be honest. Okay, that's fine. People say that I'm boring, but I present information in the way that I enjoy it, right? I'm not here to entertain you. If I were here to entertain you, then I would be cursing and yelling and screaming and the whole nine yards. But that's not my style. Sometimes if I'm riled up, then I scream and I shout. And I understand if I want clicks, there's certain ways to do it. There's certain ways to do it based on what is it called? Thumbnail. I get it. I understand it. There's certain ways to push the algorithm, but I'm selfish. I need to do content in the way that I like it, not for entertaining the masses. So let me just say that. All right. Ryan says, why can Golden automatically drain my account and my item doesn't sell more than $50, but can't charge my account, winning account, any kind of law? I haven't sold on Golden, so I'm not sure how to answer this. On eBay, I sell. I know they take what, 12% or whatever, 13% for final fee, something like that. Wonder who's Ruben's favorite celebrity is. That's a good question. Who is Ruben's favorite celebrity? I have no idea about that. Kiwi Card says, yo, AIH, what's going on? Okay. Do you think the card market will continue to go down to pre-COVID levels? So here's what I'm seeing. I don't want to get too much into finance. Here's the thing, though. If interest rates go lower, which I think they will, and the market is still, doesn't crash because of the real estate market, the commercial real estate market, I believe that the card market will go higher from here. Now, that doesn't mean I'm going to load the boat. I know Sports Card Radio is buying, and I think they're going to make some decent money on it. But will the card market continue to go down as of right now? I think it's ready to bottom out, to be honest. But just my opinion as of right now. Stories in Cardboard. The people want to know, did Rahul sign the petition that will sign the hobby universe? No, I did not sign the petition at all. And going back to the petition, I did a video on Instagram saying, hey, look, and I did it in a respectful and polite manner and said, hey, look, I don't think this will work. And sure, it's a good idea to bring these ideas to the limelight, but ultimately there needs to be something for fanatics to act if people sign a petition. I felt that Bill was a little agitated when I did that video. And ultimately, a few days later, he comes out with the reel. That reel, it wasn't too bad of a reel, but it was like basically the finger pointing at Sports Card Radio and me and also people like us, that we're negative for the hobby. We're bad for the hobby. And because we don't provide solutions. And the thing is that, you know what? I do my content the way that I see it. I'm not a watchdog. People call me a watchdog. I consider myself to just be a YouTuber, blogger, whatever. And ultimately, I present information the way that I see it. And if people like it, they like it. If they don't, then, go elsewhere. And ultimately, I feel that I've accomplished a lot over the past few years, starting basically from nothing on both platforms, and have been able to create an audience or have been able to build an audience. Not so much, but at the same time, able to communicate with people, able to learn, able to improve my collection, able to just be more informed about cards. So I really do enjoy what I'm doing. And I'm not going to tolerate people telling me what I should be doing on my platform. Because ultimately, if you are telling people to speak in a certain manner or present information in another manner, and you're not doing the same yourself, in the fact that you're not exposing fraud to the level that Sports Card Radio is, then you should not be lecturing people. It seems that what you do in your day job, you can't do in this hobby. That's how I interpret it. I know he's like a CFO or anything like that, but ultimately, you can't be running, you can't be pointing fingers like that if you haven't exposed fraud to the extent as SCR has. Like, there are only a few people that can lecture people like that. And Efish Pitch, just because he's able to, in my opinion, clout chase off of P. Ryan collection, doesn't mean that he has the authority to lecture people like that. That's just my opinion. Did you catch Andy's video on hobby oversight today? No, I did not. I did not. Hello from the rising sun, Japan. What's going on? Well, what time is it in Japan right now? It's what, 10 o'clock Central in Chicagoland. I think Bill does a good job with calling out BS. I have to exit out of this. I think Bill does a good job calling out the BS in the industry, but he was way off on his criticism of you and SCR. Yeah. And ultimately, he has a, in my opinion, egotistical attitude. And just because you're aligned with P. Ryan doesn't mean you should be mouthing your mouth like that, or you should be running your mouth like that. Watchdogs could use one of the guys. I'm too obsessed with this Efish guy. Okay. Your opinion. Otherwise, people like Card Porn take the title Watchdog and ruin things. So the thing is, if you're a large account and you call yourself a watchdog, this was one of the observations that I made with Card Porn. That's a huge red flag. All right. And they kept on saying, oh, we're the friendly hobby watchdog. That's what Card Porn said. So the minute that they said that, that's when I started to be like, okay, something is off. They've changed their tune. They've become more positive, this and that. I'm like, yo, I don't trust you at all whatsoever. And I remember a lot of people pointed at me saying that I was in the wrong going aggressively after Card Porn. Right? There's a reason why I go aggressively after some and why I don't go aggressively after some individuals. I'm strategic in how I play this. Some people may say that, hey, look, you're emotionally unhinged or whatever. No, I've thought things through and I know when to react and when not to react. And some people may find that to be quite interesting. So, Brendan, what did he say in his hobby oversight video? I'm just curious. All right, but going back to the video that I was talking about the other day, just how do you deal with fanatics? Is going after fanatics the way by signing a petition? Will it do anything? No, because you have to look at it from this standpoint. They are what, a $500 million company? And Tops is, not Fanatics in general, but Tops, right? $500 million per year, something like that. Petition won't do anything like that. And the petition got how many signatures? The other day I saw 266 signatures, which I think needed 500. So if you can't do that, then what else? How else can you go after fanatics? My opinion in going after fanatics is being aggressive and calling out the hanky panky. Some people say that you need more evidence, you need more that, this and that. I don't think so. I speak my mind. This is not a news outlet. This is not, what is it called? The New York Times. This is not the Wall Street Journal. This is not any other outlet out there. This is just my own channel. I'm over here on my computer and I'm just telling you what's on my mind. Some people don't like it. It is what it is. I just find that quite interesting. So yeah, and the other thing about Ephus pitch is that number one, the dude was making comments in the comment section. He was coming after me saying that, hey, look, your buddy Shay, he's your buddy, right? Like trying to insinuate that, my buddy is a shield bidding guy. I did a live stream with him once, but that's pretty much it. We exchanged a few messages last year, but I wasn't hanging out with him at the shows. I wasn't DMing him, calling him on the phone. I think I did wish him success on his card that he picked up, the Messi card last year or early this year, whenever it was, but that's about it. Ultimately, he didn't question P. Ryan, what is it called? P. Ryan Collection, who I'm friendly with, and he's friendly with as well. He didn't question him regarding Shay publicly. Why did he do that with me? That's because I think there's a network of people right now that are trying to dig up things on me. And that's what he thought of, because I got a DM from Lamim James saying the same thing when I had a story about the shield bidding incidents. So that's what I find very interesting. All right, let's look at this. Hankus Pankus Con needs to be an event. Yeah, I think that would be pretty nice. That would be pretty good. Hobby with Cage. You are better than the times, man. Keep doing your thing. People will get away with whatever you let them get away with. You keep people honest, and I'm no exception. Love what you do. Keep doing it. All right. How's it going, Cage? Short-term rates in the US had been near zero for 9 of the previous 13 years. How was the card market doing back then? So in my older videos, when I had a very small channel, I looked at some of the data of PWCC that they accumulated. Now, someone may say, "Oh, well, it's PWCC and hanky panky." Yeah, I do know that, right? I've covered these all the time. 2009, I was tracking some of these scarce cards. Not in 2009, but I looked at the data. I was looking at some Sandy Koufax high end cards, like a PSA 10 rookie. And I saw this huge appreciation from about 2008 to this was pre-pandemic and 2019. And I noticed that, hey, look, in this low interest rate environment, people were going into these very high end cards. The high end did pretty well. Now, I did notice, and I think I'm going to do this video on my finance channel tomorrow, because people tend to, they don't like stuff when I finance related topics on my sports card channel, but this is relevant to sports cards. In 2018, I noticed the interest rates started going lower. I also noticed that the tips yield went from positive to negative. And that's when sports cards started to rise. When you had from positive to negative interest rates. I know showing a graph would be much better. And then interest rates went negative. If you look at 10-year tips, I think in 2022. And what happened to sports cards then? They got absolutely destroyed. But specifically, you can't look at sports cards too much because they went bananas during that time frame. But if you look at like Bitcoin or crypto, higher tips yield, 5-year tips yield, it destroyed Bitcoin. And now we're at a point where we're probably going to be going from positive rates like in 2018, and it could last maybe a year or so, and it'll go negative. And that's going to help sports cards, in my opinion, right? People say, oh, you're negative this, negative that. I'm just looking at what's going on. And for the first time in a while, I'm fairly confident that sports cards will be going higher in price, specifically the high end. I was talking to Pancake today in the DMs, and we're just discussing I was saying like, hey, look, I'm fairly confident interest rates are going to be going lower. I've talked about it earlier, but now I'm just looking at some of these technicians. I'm looking at fundamental analysis. I'm looking at the COT reports in the futures markets, the commitment of traders. Just sentiment is very bearish on bonds for these speculators. And when you see that, it's going to flip the other way. So bond prices go up, interest rates go down. These auction houses are going to lend more money, and that's going to pump up the prices, in my opinion. They're trying the guilty by association tactic, diabolical. So yeah, that's what they're trying to do. But if they're going to play the guilt by association card, be it EFIS pitch, or Lamim, you could turn it around. EFIS pitch won't SP Ryan that. I mean, I told P Ryan in a DM that, hey, look, this is nothing against you whatsoever. I just wanted to prove a point to Bill and pointing that out. And Bill hasn't responded to me regarding that shy comment. So that's when I figured out the dude's a snake. He's a snake like Curator. And the reason why I say that is I confronted Curator regarding what is it called? The not PMG, the rock card that he bought in 2022. On eBay, it said that he bought it for $1,500, but on a stream, he said, "Oh, I think I bought it for $2,500." And that was 6 days before he bought it. So you have to ask yourself the question, how does the great Curator not know a card price? This is what I was basically saying, because someone tipped me off on this. How do you not know the card price that you bought from 6 days ago? A ballpark. Okay, you may not get the exact amount, but 1,500 versus 2,500, and then you can't respond to that, what I was saying? He said that I was a hater. So that's when I figured out Curator was a snake before everybody else. And in addition, this Bill guy, I confronted him about that Shea thing and the P. Ryan thing, right? He couldn't answer it. So same exact pattern, They're all about the middle ground, right? Telling people, we need to keep the negativity out. Okay? When I see that, I look at that as gatekeeping, because Curator talked about that. Hey, we need to have an iron circle. That's how he said it. We need an iron circle to keep that negativity out. Okay? And because of that, guess what? A lot of people picked up onto Curator. And, if you want to have a middle ground like he does, like Bill does, okay, that's your opinion, but you can't dictate that to other content creators. Everyone has a style and how they present information. So I find that to be gatekeeping. And also, what this reminds me of is the Card Ladder guys. They went on an interview with Sports Card Anonymous over a year ago. And in this article, not in this article, but in that interview, they said they didn't like how content creators were. It was like cornball content, whatever the hell that was. Like the same exact pattern. It's like all these high IQ people telling people how to do their content. And I'm like, you do the content the way that you see it. All right. You are responsible for the words that you say, and you have to take responsibility for it. But ultimately, guess what? No one should tell people to do things in a certain way. I'm more laissez-faire. If the guy claims to be a limited government free market guy, then you should be the same in terms of the free market of ideas, free market of how to express yourself. That's how I view it, to be honest. Let's see. You still buying low vintage, maize, etc.? I would be buying more right now, but don't have the funds to the extent that I want to. So right now I'm just buying TTM cards, buying cards for TTM right now. But otherwise, I would have been probably speculating in Brady. I would be speculating in Tiger Woods. I'd be speculating in MJ. I think if I didn't have to pay for all these repairs, that's where the money would have gone. But I am still in it, but not to the extent that I want to, if that makes sense. Do you see any way out for the Fed not to print their way out of this? I believe they are going to be lowering rates. They will print, they will do all sorts of things, in my opinion, to be honest. Har Jimba, the great urinator, is a fraud. I think someone called him that at the National. Bargain boxer or whatever. Hobby with Cage. Rates definitely going lower, so I'm buying high dividend stocks. They've gotten killed with high rates, about to flip. See Verizon, its yield 8.5%. You're right, rates are going down soon. And I know you follow the like high end more than I do, but like I said before, this is a DM I sent to Pancake. If interest rates go lower, like both of us think they are, then what's going to happen with these auction houses? These auction houses are going to probably lend more. Just like with PWCC, they were lending, but then they curtailed the lending. And Golden, I believe, curtailed the lending last year. But what happens when things get better, even though it's temporary? They're going to allow more lending, which will allow sports card prices, in my opinion, not saying it will happen 100% without a shadow of a doubt. I do believe that the prices will go higher. Just looking at it from an objective point of view, I do expect gold and silver to go higher. Not investment advice, just my own thought process. Bitcoin to go higher. Stocks should initially go higher, but this is setting up for some, pumpers to get happy. I appreciate Chris and Josh. Don't always agree with them, but the hobby is better off with them. Used to be diverse opinions was a good thing. Yeah, exactly. Diverse opinions, people that don't, from that have different viewpoints. I think we should be accepting and hearing what they have to say rather than telling people, you can't say this, you can't say that. We have to, only present information in a certain way, or we need to come up with a solution. And speaking of a solution, if you want fanatics, like Bill says, to go after, if you want to make sure they change their ways, don't buy their product. If you buy their product, a petition won't do anything about it. This cardboard life pretty much roasted him in that meme. Probably one of the best memes that I've ever seen from him. Drew Tang, AIH in the building. Yep, I'm in the building. Money gets cheaper, easier to lend, and prices get propped up. Yep, exactly. Does the collapsed treasury bonds have you worried? No, not right now. What is worrisome in the economy in general is the commercial real estate market. If people are not going into the office in big cities, I live near a big city in Chicagoland. If I'm going in 2-3 days a week rather than 5 days a week, there's an impact. And if my neighbors, they don't go into the office at all, some of them work from home permanently. That's the more worrisome issue. Now, bonds are going to be rallying shortly, but the major hurdle in the economy is commercial real estate. I do believe that will have a ripple effect on the banks sometime next year or in 2025. That's the issue that I'm worried about. And we could forget about sports cards when that happens. So think of Silicon Valley Bank and just think of the problems that will magnify from there. Are you bidding on PWCC tomorrow? It might close tomorrow, but it might get extended to another day in case your stuff doesn't go high enough. Oh, that's hilarious, man. That's totally hilarious. So I know Dan the Card Man did a video. I did a video too. Now I'm just wondering, was that just a problem with AWS or Amazon? I think it was a problem with Amazon, but at this point, I don't know what's going on. Would you ever offer fractional shares of your Funko Pops? So here's the funny part. People always say in my back, those are my Funko Pops. I actually have about 10 Funko Pops in my own PC, something like that. And some of them I share with my wife, the sports ones. So maybe those are like 5. You say that PWCC, they're crooks. So here's something that I may want to do, and maybe someone listening can send me some more intel on this. So PWCC was involved in the trimming scandal like 4 years ago with some major hanky-panky going on. People were buying cards that were definitely trimmed, and apparently through the grapevine, I've heard that, okay, some people returned their cards to PWCC, got a refund, but then PWCC was then selling those cards on eBay when they were on eBay, and they're still in circulation. Now, that's a good research topic that I want to dive into. Anyone, have any tips on that? Please send me those so I could, do a review on it to be like, hey, look, PSA hasn't decertified these cards. BGS hasn't decertified these cards. SDC hasn't decertified these cards, when there's evidence that these cards are trimmed. And there's plenty of cards that are trimmed out there, but they're not going to touch it. And the reason why they're not going to touch it, these companies, is because it opens up Pandora's box. And I'll tell you in a minute. Let me get some water here. So think about PWCC. They sold a Jordan card, and I think Stories and Cardboard is in the chat. So what happened was the dude basically cracked that card, sent it to PSA. PSA said, no, this is a fake. And the guy went to PWCC saying, hey, look, what's going on? You sold me a fake. And they wouldn't do anything for 6 weeks until he went to a reporter in Florida called him out publicly, and then PWCC refunded the dude $30,000 or whatever it was. And then what happened, thanks to Chris and other people in the hobby, is that they figured out PSA decertified several cards after that certification, where one seller or one person that sent the cards to PSA, they were the ones to authenticate cards that were most likely fake. So they decertified so many cards, and ultimately a lot of cards, that are in people's possession, well, they suddenly became decertified. All because of this one news reporter that decided to call them out. So how many stories and how many situations are out there just like that? That's what I'm wondering, right? Because guess what? If you are owning these cards, you have to realize that, hey, look, if these ever come out to be fake, you may be on the hook for these. Because from my understanding, PSA, they don't refund these autographs. They only refund cards, and I believe you have to sign an NDA. They only do that if they decide to approve that it's altered, trimmed, whatever, and it falls under a certain threshold. You have only a lifetime amount of getting refunded, a certain amount of money. So if it's a high-end card, guess what? You won't be refunded all of that amount. But once again, a lot of people don't play that game. So what I'm telling people is when you're buying a card, you have to understand the risk, especially the high-end cards. And I'm not picking on Prism God here. I know David Kahana has gone pretty hard at him. But if you're buying a card that is very expensive and you find out eventually it's stolen, you could be involved in some legal matters. So that's just a huge problem out there, when you're paying an arm and a leg for these cards. And I think Card Porn of all people called this situation out, but once again, it was weird that Card Porn only went after these smaller companies. Didn't go after Beckett too hard or PSA too hard. They went after Golden, but they eventually, were on friendlier terms. Even though Ken Golden personally told me that he didn't like Card Porn, I think it was more of like, hey, look, Ken Golden wants to do business with everyone. That's my impression from Ken, to be honest, after that interaction I had with him. Makes you wonder how many stories like you never hear about. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, people criticize me for saying, hey, look, you're just asking questions. You're just looking at all of these things. Guess what? I'm doing that because one of the stories that I may talk about may open up Pandora's box, or we may learn about things. So after my experience, I realized that I need to ask more questions. Even if I get a video with 200 views, one of my smart subscribers may tip me off. So here's the funny part. I did that PWCC story. I got 300 some views, not too many. But you know who was watching? A very savvy collector, Stories in Cardboard, Chris. I think he was here earlier in the chat. He alerted Ryan. Ryan then emailed me about it, and Chris also mentioned to me, hey, look, there's more information out there regarding those Jordan cards. He noticed cards got decertified. No one talked about it. You have to realize there are a lot of people that are controlled and can't say too much. But guess what? I'm not controlled. I could talk about whatever I want here. And therefore, what ended up happening was we found out all this information about these Jordan cards getting decertified. So that's why I keep on pushing the envelope. That's why I keep on asking the questions. That's why, despite intimidation from other people, I keep on doing what I do. And that's why I will aggressively go after people like Bill. He'll tell me I should act in a certain way. No, I should just look for solutions. I'm just going to be asking questions. And then all of us can work together to find the answers. That's how I view it. Prism God is a moron. He condones both shilling and trimming. Can't trust a guy who calls himself a god. Cardboard Heel, can you explain quantitative easing? Basically, they're buying up bonds to increase their value and lower interest rates. Hockey 99, AIH doesn't ask enough questions. You're the first one to say that I don't ask enough questions. There are many people that say that I'm over the top, that I'm annoying, that I'm boring. I don't care. I do what I do. And I know ways to get way more views. But once again, I do this for selfish reasons. And I like presenting the information that I like presenting the information in the way that I want to. Once again, if I scream, I shout, I do everything like that, I would get a lot more views. If I work more on my thumbnail, I would get more views. It would help the algorithm. I get it. I understand. You're joking? Okay. I figure. That's funny. But yeah, I will continue to ask these questions. So let me take a look at some of the DMs before I get into this. So someone just sent me text message from the chat. Okay, but anyways, someone just said that I do watch all your videos, but they're boring. Yeah, I get it. My videos are boring. It is what it is. Thumbnail, I got you. Oh, you do thumbnails, man? That's. I mean, you make the best pictures out there, man. When are you gonna make your appearance on YouTube? I mean, I really like some of your comments out there. I think Bob Boozle wants to create a podcast and Patches too. He said that'd be nice. So now I want to talk about these loaded, or what I perceive to be loaded boxes. And I see, commentary that, hey, look, conspiracy theory that, conspiracy theory this. I may even do a video on this. Guess what? Wait, before that, AIH, do you collect any Frank Thomas cards? Greatest Chicago area hitter of the 90s. I do have some Frank Thomas cards, but as you can see behind, I'm a Cubs fan. So, the Big Hurt was definitely a great player here in Chicago, but I was more of a Cubs fan, even though Greg Maddux left when I don't remember. I didn't remember him pitching with the Cubs, but yep, he was part of it. I do remember Kerry Wood. I think Kerry Wood was probably my favorite Cubs player at that time. But I was a huge Sammy Sosa fan at that time. He got me into the Cubs. He made me a huge Cubs fan. Okay. And guess what? Sammy Sosa cheated. He used cork. He did the hanky panky. He used roids, from what it looks like. And when he went to Baltimore, he got skinny and he was never the same again. So it is what it is. AIH is a hack of all trades. All right. Do I have a Turk Wendell PC? Well, I do have an autograph of him. Speaking of that, I showed this on, what is it called? The live stream that I was on the other day, Pittsburgh. So if you can see very closely, he colors on the cards. You see in the corner here? And then if you look really closely, he colors the card on the border. What is your hate on soy? I am lactose intolerant. You wouldn't want me to use your crapper if I drank milk. I'm lactose intolerant too, man. I use almond milk. So that's what I drink, or oat milk. And, there's also something called lactate. So, for males, soy is not a good thing in large amounts. And, I always reference, that video from, what's his name? PJW, Soy Boys. You have to go to his channel to look it up. It's pretty entertaining. That's where I come with the reference. And then when I go off on people, I just call them Soy Boys. What about Mitch Williams, the Wild Thing? Mitch Williams? Nope. I don't have his cards. I am going to be looking at cards maybe this weekend of some Cubs guys and trying to buy them on eBay, and I'm going to send them off. Bounties are all the rage. Where do you think this path will take us? I think this path will probably they're trying to create, in my opinion, they're doing this to create a huge demand for these cards. And you have to remember, cards have taken a huge hit, and we're going to be probably seeing higher card prices 8 months from now. Now, will it last? I don't know, because of the economic uncertainty. But guess what? I do believe there is a marketing aspect to this. Why do they want bounties? To make sure that people pay a ridiculous amount for cards that aren't worth that amount. You have to remember that during the pandemic, during the heydays, you had the Rock card. This is no lie. It was $2,500. I regret not buying this in like April of 2020, because people were chasing MJ cards at the time. At one point on PWCC, I think it sold for 100 grand. Now then it crashed thereafter. But that's how crazy the market was. So people are just going to be piling into whatever during a frenzy. And once these auction houses start loaning out again with lower interest rates, that's when you're probably going to see the frenzy. Nah, man, that's not true. Will there be a bounty on Connor Bedard 101 Young Guns? If so, which popular breaker hits it? So who breaks hockey cards? That I don't know. I mean, aren't you in Canada, hockey? I do believe that if there is one of those breakers that gets Upper Deck products, well, I wonder what type of deal would be set up with them. Would Dave and Adams do it? Would one of these athletes pay a large amount? That's what I'm interested in. Yeah, I have one rookie of Bedard. I think that's going to be wild. And now in Chicago, to see a stud come to our team, that's going to be great. Because what? The Bulls suck. The Cubs blew their season this year. What else is going to happen? You know, I just find that really interesting. But going back to loaded boxes. So, they say there's a conspiracy theory this, conspiracy theory that. Then how do all these guys, how do these breakers continue to get the hits? Okay? That doesn't make sense to me. Because if you continue to see these individuals, these breakers, then how are they going to be able to get these with these low odds? That's what I'm thinking of. It's just really strange. Let me look at this. Bay Area guy says, I stick with vintage. Ultra modern is getting out of hand. Ultra modern, there's too much supply out there. And now I think vintage is in a sweet spot where, okay, a lot of people have been flushed out. Even you could look at some modern cards out there. Same thing with vintage. And now with the situation of lower interest rates coming about, it should definitely help it. All right, let's take a look at some other topics that I have on hand. I wanted to ask you, though, what do you think about the superfractor situation from last week? When you had that situation with that guy on eBay, what did you think of that? Where there was a bounty on the superfractor. I just found that to be very, very, very strange, to be honest. All right. Let me take a look at this. There's the more to come on that. What do you mean there's more to come on that? Is it really a conspiracy? I mean, it's been proven for Panini and Topps is in hot water. Makes Upper Deck looks like professionals. Yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. I mean, Upper Deck, we really don't hear too many stories about it, but they're not huge right now in sports cards. But if they were huge, then I think we'd see more stories regarding them. I like modern vintage are boring looking. Okay. Does Ultra Modern get chilled more? Everything gets chilled, in my opinion. I mean, look at that Shea guy. He was shilling modern cards, modern soccer cards. I did a lot of videos exposing shill bidding going on in Patrick Mahomes cards. Okay. His 2017 Optic Hollow PSA 10s. Those cards got shilled like crazy. So that's, anything people are going to shill at. And for them to make money, they're going to shill whatever they want. And I think what happened during the pandemic, there were a lot of cards, in my opinion, that were still shilled. Like this happens all the time. And it's frustrating because you know that you may be bidding against some other person like Shea who's pumping up his cards. And then guess what? You have to pay for a higher premium. And then you try to sell it, you try to flip it for whatever reason. You need the money or you're trying to make money off of it. You're going to lose money off of it or you won't get a higher return compared to what you should have. So it's just unfortunate that we see these things happen over and over again. One-on-ones are nothing in my book anymore. Yeah, exactly. After this, but here's the deal. Fanatics, whether you like them or not, they're going to be marketing in such a nice way because they have access to celebrities, whether we like them or not as a monopoly. They're going to be doing a great job using Michael Rubin's contacts. So through social media, through Tom Brady, through Kevin Hart, all of these guys, they're going to be helping this market out. And these superfractors, even though they don't have that much money on them, even though we think they're not worth that much, initially they may be worth a ton. Why they want to kill the golden goose is beyond me. I don't know, to be honest. I have no idea. Don't invest in high print cards. People would lose motivation to shill. That's true, but then what will people do if, let me rephrase this. Let me come back to this another time. Hold on. 1 out of 95 is the new 1 of 1. Yeah, I have a Khabib card that's 1 out of 168 or something like that. And I find that to be more in value than the superfractors and the new 1 of 1s they're printing. This is just a marketing ploy, in my opinion. And if someone wants to buy it, let them buy it. But it's not the same as it used to be back in the day. But I could be wrong. I like the older sets better. I like the older cards better. But some people would definitely disagree in that. Some people do chase these high-end cards and they try to flip it. This is not my ball game because there's way too much speculation in it. Now, no risk, no reward. So a lot of people are going to be trying to buy into these breaks and trying to make a ton of money in it. But anyways, I wanted to ask all of you, what have you been buying lately? Right, that's quite interesting. I like Steve Splenda says, I like KD's better. You sure about that? Sure about that? I think you want me to pump KD's. I think you're gonna get me into a lot of trouble, man. So like I get in trouble because I bring on Shay to my live stream once, and and all of a sudden he's my boy, according to Billy Boy. I hope you're not like pumping and dumping KDs because I'm gonna be in a lot of heat, man. A lot of heat. I just work on vintage cards and upgrade my cards when I can. I recently replaced my PSA 7 Namath with a better copy and it came back an 8. Well, I hope you didn't use Kurt's card care, man. Please don't use Kurt's card care. That was bad. Don't lie. Don't lie about what? Buying T-Law? Okay. I don't buy ultra modern, just 90s to 2015. My preference, I would say, is I would love to buy Jordan cards right now. If I I think that would be what I'd be looking at if I had a little more money on hand, buying a lot more Jordans. Ultra modern will end badly. I think it already has if you look at it. I mean, there are still some cards people will chase that may be worth a ton, but injuries have caused a lot of people to lose money and card values have gone down. What's that guy named? Kyler Murray? I mean, Kyler Murray, right? His cards have come down after his injury. I never thought that Murray would be a good person to buy because guess what? Murray is one of the shorter quarterbacks out there compared to the average height of the quarterback. And like a lower Wonderlic score guy, that doesn't automatically make the QB, inefficient. But guess what? That's what people look at. Cardboard heel. You know who has more contacts than Ruben? Cage Lawyer. If you need inside information, AIH, just contact Cage. Okay, I mean, he comments on my videos. I've been buying soccer F1 for PC and sell, and NBA mainly to sell. Okay. Who will buy KD? Everyone hates him. Dude, KD freaking goes on Twitter with burner accounts and contacts people. I don't really know why you have an obsession collecting him. No offense, man. Allen and Ginter Blaster and still working on Monopoly Prism Black Icon set. Phoenix Rising 2430. My birthday recently, just bought myself a Steph RPA. Okay. Happy birthday, man. Cutoff is 2015. Okay. I would not be putting money into ultra modern. Exactly. That is not the smartest thing to do. Can you say vintage sucks for the algorithm? Vintage sucks. How about that? I've been collecting PSA 9s of Topps card number 1 through the years. I'm back to the 70s. Lots of Hank Aaron. I have 1894 Mayo to 2015 Topps Chrome. Ultra modern has room to decline. Wait until these guys are forgettable in 10 years. Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, just imagine Brock Purdy gets injured. I mean, he's doing fantastic. He's doing all right now, but imagine he does poorly. What's going to happen to his cards? Unless he turns into a Tom Brady. What Purdy was in the championship game, so maybe he's going to do something well. I don't know. Buy Will Greer. Fleur. I think Will Grier is a 4 times better investment than Kyler Murray. I think everyone has to agree with that, man. Everybody. Do I think Jalen Hurts is overrated? So here's my thoughts on Jalen Hurts. I believe that he's a decent quarterback. Now, I don't know how he's going to play in the next 5 years when he has a big contract and when Philadelphia can't afford some of the weapons that he'll need to succeed. And ultimately, since he's a running quarterback as well, he has to be more of an in the pocket passer. Will he be able to adjust, or will he have a career like Cam Newton? That's the question. And I don't want to go after his Wonderlic score, but what's a positive aspect of Jalen Hurts is that I believe his dad was a quarterback, so I think that definitely does help him over some other people out there. I think these mobile quarterbacks like the Mahomes or the Josh Allens of the world, they're going to have to be more in the pocket because they can't continue to run that they do. Mahomes doesn't need to run. But Josh Allen or Herbert, they have to be in the pocket. I think they can do that. But some of these other people, they have to stop running so much. They have to be smart about it, get outside of the pocket, then throw the ball, right? That's how they do it, in my opinion, to be successful. Because you want to be playing in the game for as long as you want, not for a short term time. You're offended. KD needs that Jimmy Buckets fresh cut. Some may say triggered. All righty. I mean, thing with Jimmy Buckets is I wonder if he really did hook up with what's his name, Rachel Nichols in the bubble during COVID. People kept on giving a crap about that, but I still wonder about that. Do you enjoy YouTube channel Hobby Drama and Infighting? I usually watch that stuff. Yeah, I watch. I mean, I like it when people say whatever's on their mind. I don't like this. Oh, let's be gatekeepers. Let's have an iron circle. Just watch that video of Great Curator. He always says like, let's have that iron circle. He doesn't say iron circle. He says iron circle. But regardless, iron circle, whatever it is, if you want to moderate content in that way, shape, or form, you're a gatekeeper, in my opinion. Like, I get it. You may not want to get into really hot button issues outside of sports cards. That makes sense. But in terms of like issues in sports cards, you should definitely talk about that. And for people to say you need to calm down, you need to watch what you say, you need to talk like you do in corporate America, this is a hobby. And if you want to deal with fanatics, you got to be aggressive. You can't just be, docile dealing with them. You know? Jimmy Butler wants hair like Cat Williams. My impression of suburban is very underrated. Okay. Like, what is your impression of suburban elites? You know? Do they wear Atlanta Braves caps? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe not. Every year I give myself a new challenge. The year I decided to collect the top 250 running backs career rushing all time. I decided to collect the top 200 since the last 50 is a revolving door. Okay. I have a hard time calling cards as investments. Someone has to want what you have and be willing to pay more. Most of us will be lucky to make chump change. I considered cards, if you look at it, like 2018, 2019, like a short-term investment in up until COVID. And like from that brief time frame of 2018, like fall of 2018 to about February or March of 2021, you could consider sports cards an investment at that time. But otherwise, you know, you need to look at sports cards. You could still invest in it, but there's just certain times like gold, right? I speculate in gold and I realize, okay, there are times where you can invest in gold and silver. Timing is key if you want to invest in it. You know, a lot of people go back and forth and people would say no, they're investments, they aren't investments. It depends when you buy them, right? So that's how I view it, just like I look at precious metals. Yeah, all those younger QBs running the way, major, major problem. Yeah. Someone put down $90,000 for Justin Fields last year, something like that, 80,000. Yeah, he played well against the Washington. What are they now? The Commanders? But come on, man. Like, who's buying all that money? Oh, or wait, is laundered drug money going into these quarterbacks? Think about it. I don't know. Just asking questions for all you people that don't want me to ask questions. How much drug money laundering is going on in the hobby? I'm going to be dropping a video this week on sports cards and drugs. So make sure to check that out. That should be quite interesting. I enjoy the drama, but it is amusing seeing the content creators eat each other. Well, the thing is, if you want to F around, you're going to find out. And, someone like Bill, who's acting like he's the alpha when he's not, and he wants to, dictate the terms and how pushback content should be, and he doesn't have the respect of the other content creators, then he's going to be eaten up. That's why this Cardboard Life just tore him up the other day. Sports Card Radio tore him up. And then, now I'm going to get in trouble for this. He does a reel. Let's get into some tinfoil hat stuff. He puts a reel with Miley Cyrus saying that we live rent free. Now, I'm just messing around here, but wasn't Miley Cyrus on the Epstein list? Allegedly? Steve Splenda, are you in the comment section? Hopefully you drop a comment down on that. Why do they play her song Flowers on the radio so much? Okay, I had to say that. But anyways, yeah, it's just quite interesting that you're trying to start fights with people on YouTube when you shouldn't be doing that. A lot of people have come after me, and a lot of people probably regret it over the past year and a half. I've seen this over and over and over again. I don't get it, but it is what it is. Is Curator still around? Yeah, he's still around. He's doing videos. He did videos the other day and how, what is it? Kids shouldn't be exploited in the hobby or something like that. I don't know what it was. So I saw it the other day. Put money into ultra hype. It never misses. Okay. Wonder what happens in that iron wall of influenced hobby celebrities. Isolation might just be the answer after all. That iron circle. That's how he said iron circle. Not since the Jose Uribe 1989 rookie flair. Yeah, that was weird. That looked like some hanky panky going on. A cardboard heel. I don't believe anyone unless I see it with my two eyes. Okay, that's fair. I don't believe some of the things that I see too. I mean that people talk about. But, what I usually do, which people don't like, is I use behavior analysis. And people don't like it for some reason. And I don't know why people are saying you need to be looking at how journalists act, and I should act like that. Why? It's a blog. It's a YouTube channel, for crying out loud. What journalist integrity do I have to deal with? Why does Steve know that list so well? Laugh out loud. Yeah, why does Steve know the Epstein list so well? That's a question. That huge question. She came in like a cannonball. What are you talking about? Who are you talking about? You're behind. You just heard the Eastine documents? Oh, yeah. Come on, Steve. I need your thought process on this. What about Miley Cyrus? Why is she allegedly on that list? Steve went to the bathroom when you said Miley Cyrus. No, that's only Brittany Mahomes. But he always says that Brittany Mahomes is a PSA 6, but then once I made that comment, he went to the bathroom doing God knows what. So it is what it is. Steve says maybe. So, that's quite interesting. Old Billy Boy put on his reels Miley Cyrus, who's allegedly on the Epstein list. I wonder if this is going to go back to him and be like, yo, this guy's nuts. I heard Trump kicked Epstein out of a party and that was their falling out. I heard the rumblings of this was he was an FBI informant, the old president. And yeah, it is what it is. I heard all sorts of things about that. Because she's been chosen by the elites. Yeah, she's definitely chosen. Like, I think Steve and I need to do a conversation in the next month or so. We're going to be ripping some cards. And yeah, anyone who's out there celebrity wise, they're chosen. It's not a coincidence. Just like sports cards, they are chosen people out there. Poochie, what's going on? Disney Impel. I don't collect Disney Impel. Ask Pancake Analytics about that. What happened with EDI Sports? I think he talks a lot about the New York Rangers or something like that. I don't know. Miley Cyrus is greater than Cannonball. Okay. I know Miley Cyrus made this weird music like 10 years ago. Not weird music, but she was like twerking at an MTV Awards or something like that. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like something's up with her. And then now you have the Flowers song all over the radio. Like, why? Because the elites want productive programming, music, or whatever. I don't know, man. Steve and I could get into a conversation later on about that. Hockey 99. Do you collect CM Punk cards, a popular Chicago wrestler? No, I do not. Mama Breaks was chosen. Oh boy. Oh boy. That's what T16 says. The sports card Illuminati's watching. Oh yeah, they're watching. They're like, dude, like, what is he gonna say now? Is he gonna go off on someone? Is he gonna like start screaming at people, or is it gonna be boring? That's usually what I am, boring. But then if you get me pissed off, guess what? What about Jordan rookie star or sticker cards? I do think those cards will go higher, just like any other Jordan cards out there if they're graded, in my opinion. If we're in a bull market, if that. AIH came in like a cannonball and blew up the hobby. Laugh out loud. Obscure ones. Who is next? I don't know. Start yelling like Alex Jones. Ah! Like, is that how he yells? Oh, man. It's their song MacGyver. Cannonball. I don't know about that. One day AIH will be on the Jeff Wilson Hour. Will make great for TV. You know, with these things, I would want it live because then, you can't edit the video. That's like, okay, if he ever invites me, I doubt he will, right? But if I get invited by one of these big channels, it'd have to be live because then you could get into like topics and you wouldn't have to worry about someone deleting those topics. Non-sports cards, especially anime, Pokemon, manga, TCG, Marvel, DC, Star Wars, are still doing pretty well. Don't have to worry about injuries or drama. People want to add to their favorite PC characters. Okay. And what's going on, Marvelous? I have 2 Jordan rookies, 1 SGC 6.5 and PSA 7, and 2 Jordan stickers, rookie PSA 6 and PSA 8. Okay, that's nice. That's good. When did you buy them? What's my collection? It's a lot of Cubs, Chicago Bulls, Chicago base. I have a bunch of autos here that I send to these celebrities, not celebrities, these famous athletes over here. So, and I send it in the mail, pay them sometimes, and just collect a lot of autographs. Let's see. Is AIH the people's champs? I don't know. Some people say that I'm boring, so I don't know how it could be the people's champ. Rahul versus Jeff Wilson every morning in a live debate like Skip and Stephen A. Jeff is scared of me. Okay. Hell in a cell match between Teapots and AIH Sports live. Dude, Teapots, the dude blocked me for some reason. He blocked Dan the Cardman. I don't understand about that. I really haven't talked about him too much, but it is what it is. If you go on Jeff's show, you will have to sit on his dirty couch. Don't wear nice pants. What makes you say that it's dirty? What's going on? 1986. Okay. That's nice. Those are nice. Let's look at this. You miss the comeback card collector. The dude was promoted because he's what is it called, a model or something like that. So what I found interesting is that the industry promotes people like that. They don't promote collectors. And they're just using like these people, whether they're getting them via casting call or whether they find someone on YouTube. Guess what? If these people go out in a few years, like what type of marketing are they doing? I don't think it's the right type of marketing, but it is what it is, These people with money can do whatever they want. They could get Insta hose if they want to promote cards if they'd like to on their auctions. Their money, right? Not mine. What do you think of live auction coverage? I like the idea, but when I try to watch, I get bored, unfortunately. Well, some people like that content. So to each their own. I mean, that's why PWCC pays people, because there are people that are trying to figure out, hey, how can I add to my collection? What can I speculate in? Apparently, Taylor Swift is going to be in the new Deadpool movie as the character Dazzler. So many Swifties might be getting into Marvel card games soon. Oh, God. Just imagine, she does some box break with like Aoki or something like that. I wouldn't be surprised at this point. Or she goes into what is it called? She does a break with Fanatics, and once they officially get the football license, she pulls out a Travis Kelce auto. That's gonna be weird, man. Miss Brad's hinge date stories. Does he say that, or are you just making that up about teapots? That I'm a bad influence. I'm too negative. I think on a story one time, he went off on like sports card radio, but he does work for Jeff Wilson. So, you have to realize that, hey, look, he doesn't want to lose his job. And I get that. That is pretty good casting with Swift. Insta What is good hobby marketing? Marketing that doesn't involve Insta I would say that. Marketing that does not involve loaded boxes. What is good marketing? What Fanatics did was they did a collaboration with the Chicago Cubs, and the Chicago Cubs showed basically cards on their Jumbotron, the Wintrust Jumbotron. I think that was fantastic marketing by them. This is me praising Fanatics, right? It's not always about being negative, as some of those people say, but that was good marketing. But there's things that I don't like what Fanatics is doing as well, and I think they're giving these people loaded boxes. Stay away from that AIH boy. Is that what Teapot says? Teapots is probably a vegan that listens to NPR in between yoga. Okay. Brad, aka Comeback Card Collector, does OnlyFans now. Under Fanatic's thumb. AIH has chest tattoos that say bad to the bone. Okay. Brad should do what Chris Brown does and charge hobbyists $100 for hugs on camera. Okay. I haven't heard of Chris Brown in a long time now. Taylor Swift is going to break up with Travis Kelce and date DeAndre Swift for the last name convenience. Then she'll write a song about it. At this point, I don't know, man. Like I said, like if you're in this Hollywood business, good chances that you're chosen into this. But once again, not happening with everybody, but a high probability that's the case, in my opinion. What song is that? What if Fanatics had a mascot like Domino's Noid? They could break them out for emergency PR. Nothing wrong with being a vegan. My favorite marketing was from PSA with Bobby with giving away PSA 10 base cards. Like, come on, at least refractors. I don't remember that, but it is what it is. I don't listen too much as I used to. I did remember Chris Brown. He had like hits on the radio all the time, like the mainstream stations. But that was a long time ago. AIH is now the hobby watchdog to replace card porn. No, no. I don't consider myself a watchdog, even though I get lumped into that category. But it is what it is. What do I make of ComC being essentially a card landfill? I actually like ComC in the sense that I could find weird cards that you can't find on eBay. I think I wanted to get Steve Spurrier, the coach. I may try to send it for TTM. I found this one weird card of Steve Spurrier that you can't find really on eBay, and I got it through ComC, so it is what it is. Card porn was a poodle, AIH's Doberman, curator's Cocker Spaniel. Oh man, dude, like I think one time, like I was calling out card porn like crazy. Sports Card Radio was watching what I was doing, and then they made a video saying, "Hey, card porn's basically a puppy dog or whatever." And then they went after Jeff Wilson. I found that really, really, really interesting because they made the allegation that he was buying up subs. But then I pointed out, hey, look, card porn subs seem a little odd based on engagement. So let's look at this. Watch puppy watchdog in training. Okay. Card porn will make an attempt to come back as card porn hub. Okay. I prefer hobby objectivity versus positive negative. Flipping Steve Carlos Jay's cards and comics are a good example. Who's Jay's cards and comics? Maybe I'm thinking of the guy, but I don't remember. I know there's a cards and comics YouTube channel, unless it's the same thing. Speaking of ComC, I'm starting to notice rampant shill bidding similar to prop scene or even out of worse. I do like ComC for finding interesting and rare card, but the shill bidding is out of control. Okay. Yeah, send me a DM about that and what you've noticed, and I'll give you a shout out. I'm really interested about that. ComC shill bidding. Love what you collect. What's going on? You like ComC a lot. I'm like, what do you like? Yeah, I like ComC a lot. That's actually the thing. I like what is it called? I like getting cards on ComC that you can't find on, like I said, on eBay. AIH, what do you think of the way Blue Jays removed their starter in the fourth inning? I didn't watch the game. I really don't watch the early rounds, but here's the thing. If the Blue Jays remove the pitcher in the fourth inning, well, that's the norm in the playoffs, if you just think about it. I think Kershaw got taken out in the first inning today. Once again, I'm not going to be paying attention probably to the second round, to be honest. AIH, you started this whole wave. Your name will always be mentioned. They switched the whole style up after the cover got revealed. Brother, keep snapping on these people. You and I think you meant SCR. All we got. I'd say Dan the Card Man too. And there's people on Instagram too, this Card Life. There's many others that I'm not mentioning, but those are a few that come to my mind. Cardboard, Dan the Card Man seems to be doing a good job as the new watchdog. Dan's doing a really good job. Really, really good job. He's breaking something every day. Yeah, his research is amazing. Really, really good. What is your petition, man? Do you want to boycott Fanatics? Thanks, Poochie. Yep. Also, Dan. Brendan Ryan. Dan hits a few hucksters with a verbal boomerang. Good guy. Yeah, Dan does a really good job in explaining his position, and he doesn't resort to the same type of insults that I hurl at people. So I give him kudos. He has like more self control than I do. Because on Instagram, sometimes I just like go off on people. Sometimes on YouTube, I go off on people. So much respect to him. I'm just, what SCR does, they just like go after people aggressively. I do that to a certain degree. Dan, he controls himself really well. He does not act like me at all. And I have to give him a lot of props for that because I think that all three of our channels, we think alike, but Dan is like has the best composure. If I'm just being honest, right? ComC cards are posted on eBay, cheaper on site. Yeah, I did notice there's a price differential, but not too much. Nice thing that Dodgers get walloped today. Dodgers and the Braves. Dan the card man has anger management issues. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. Horrible move. He's pitching a gem and was motivated pitching against his old team. Manager and GM should be fired. Like I said, I didn't watch the game, but ultimately, I'm more interested in the second and third rounds or the LCS and the World Series. Self control is overrated. Bob Boozle, Dan probably says "damn it, lady" when waitress brings the wrong beer. Now, I think we had this conversation with Dan one time. Do they drink Fosters in Australia? That's something to note. David, what's going on? Default motion hearing against Eddie Investicard is Tuesday morning in Florida. Then we'll go for Prism God and late 90s buy sell trade. Very interesting. Yeah. Keep us updated and send me any information about that. I want what's his name? Him to say it in his Australian accent. What is it? Foster's Australian phobia. Yeah, sorry about that. I'll be back in a minute. All right, so let's look at some of the comments. So yeah, what is it? Foster's Australian phobia. I'm an Australian. We don't drink Foster's. Yeah, I don't know. Where did that come from? Is that commercial? They pretended like it's an Australian beer or something like that. Why you dip? Foster's is branding, the thing that Jeff believes he does well but doesn't. He owns a marketing firm, whatever it's called. Why do we assume Dan drinks beer? He says he drinks beer. That's pretty good. Milk, please. Oh, man. You should have Dan in the comments, but I think he's at a show. Where is Dan right now? I think he's at a show, but let me take a look at this. Dan looks like a milk guy. He used to be a carpenter, he said, and then he went to school for accounting. So he's an accountant. He's an auditor. But going back to this, David, what do you think is going to happen with this? Like, this is an interesting case. This is something that you've been looking into very closely. So I would like to see what happens. Foster's comes in a huge can, beer for the devoted. Laugh out loud. Let's take a look at other comments here. So, MM, what does that mean, MM? If you could clarify what that means. But I wanted to go back into these loaded boxes. And I believe that obviously there are loaded boxes, but there was a push by Sports Card Nonsense and what is it called? Let me take a look at this comment and I'll get into it. Thoughts on Jeff Wilson putting out the hobby for dummies? If he actually wrote it, shouldn't it be called a hobby for the mentally disabled? Laugh out loud. Was it like investing in sports cards that he did? Is that the book that he made? Because if he did that, I don't know why he did that. Like Teapots worked on it too. I'm just thinking, yo, if you have that track record of the past 2 years, I don't know if you should be publishing a book now, but it is what it is. I guess if you want to do it and try to improve your investing or your hobby skills, okay, but I don't know, man. I don't know. But regardless, I wanted to go back into loaded boxes. So there's a push by the hobby industry right now to keep on calling it a tinfoil hat, a conspiracy theory this, conspiracy theory that. I'm going to do a video probably this week. The reality is I don't believe, once again, it's a conspiracy. It's mainly a conspiracy. I'm not a conspiracy theorist. I'm more of a conspiracy realist. I wanted to point that out. And when I see these weird odds of these guys getting these boxes, in my opinion, they're loaded. And when a breaker pulls a small time breaker pulls the Babe Ruth superfractor for what, $200,000, all the people in the industry, no offense to Casual if he's still in there, sports card nonsense, guess what? You know, that's okay, one time where it doesn't happen, but it doesn't happen all the time, loaded boxes. It happens occasionally. But once again, not every hit that comes is a loaded box. You see it all the time, people getting hits. If you follow that channel Card Dome or something like that on IG, they show various hits. I don't go on saying, oh, look, that's a loaded box. That's a loaded box. No. If the behavior seems strange, then that's when I call it out. So it is what it is. I do find it quite interesting. You know, a lot of people were throwing shots at me indirectly, directly the past week. I mean, they've always have, but I just noticed that an industry is pushing, hey, look, no conspiracy theory here. But I think the reason why some people came out is because I did a video on Mama Breaks. And I think that upset some people, to be honest. I think Billy Boy is buddies, I think, or friendly with Mama Breaks. So once that video came out, I think he was pissed. And I didn't sign his petition. And I pushed back on it. I always had doubts on that guy. Just, I could tell by behavior, like how these people act. And I picked up on it. The hobby for scummies. Yep. Jeff Wilson invested in Jordan 86 Fleer base cards. Is that what he's doing? What is he buying right now? He does these like trades very quickly. Definitely loaded. Yeah. I think what they're going to do is they're going to start loading boxes for small time breakers, and then the media coverage is going to go towards these small time breaks and be like, oh, look, they got it. Anyone can get it. That's what they're going to do now. They're going to spin it in a way to make me look psycho, to make me look crazy. But then they forget all the times, all the evidence where it seems that someone's getting a loaded box, where it just appears some hanky panky is going on. Loaded box is just going to get people's hopes up. Casuals will be disappointed with no hits and quit. Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. In my opinion, it's just marketing. Gotta track holographic serial codes, red markers on packs, influencers who hit way too much too often, and people who are terrible at sleight of hand. Yeah, exactly. That's the way to do it, and it's hard to do it. How many times is a person going to spend on these breaks? They're going to take these things. Someone just sent me a DM. Sorry about that. I'll take a look at it later. Is it possible they're sending her loaded box and she doesn't know it? So I know there are people out there that have told her that she's probably getting loaded boxes. And I haven't messaged her. I've just done videos and IG stories saying, hey, look, I think she's getting loaded boxes. And I showed the odds of this, okay? I showed the odds that something seems off. All right? Like, how do you get a 1 out of 4,000 chance of getting a hit in a Star Wars pack that her customer bought and then it's on camera? That seems weird, right? And I did the odds for the other cards as well. You could see in the video. The numbers don't add up. And maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I have it completely off base. But look, if you are with Michael Rubin, one of the most powerful CEOs out there, in an Instagram reel, why is that? In my opinion, there's an agenda to this. But guess what? I could be wrong. Someone, messaged me saying that this is pure speculation, saying Mama Breaks is getting loaded boxes. It is what it is. There's so many 101s and 510, it's easy to get loaded boxes cases. Yeah, I mean, you got to look at the odds. And if you keep on getting odds of like, hey, 1 out of 2,000, 1 out of 1,200, you keep on getting it, I wouldn't be surprised if Fanatics is giving these breakers different boxes than they give retail. Dan the Cardman said a breaker DM'd him. He wouldn't say who it was, that they were getting loaded boxes. They thought they were getting loaded boxes. Now, where's the proof? That's people say, you need receipts. You need receipts. I'm looking at the odds. The odds look really strange to me. And the probability of figuring this out, or the probability of someone getting hit after hit, is hard to figure out because guess what? Every time a box is opened, then it changes the number of boxes available. And you don't know how many boxes in live time there are. So that's why you can't do an exact probability. You have to do like, hey, an approximate probability based on the numbers they give you. That's the thing to look at. I don't understand what not seems like an app for crooks to me. Could. I mean, Rattle Pokemon. Like, I don't watch his videos. Like, every day he says scammer on whatnot. This is what he says, right? Not me. Scammer. Person's doing XYZ. Like, what the hell's going on? You know? They're going to send her loaded boxes. Now, I don't know if they're going to give her, if they are giving her loaded boxes now, I don't think they're going to give her too much if people like me start covering it. It irked. I'm pretty sure it irked people. That's why I think this attack and this marketing that saying, oh, these guys are conspiracy theorists, they want to make me look crazy. I get it. They want me to get a little uncomfortable, as Bill said. I get loaded boxes at the bar. Remember when Lala pulled 101 Spider-Man card with Ken Golden? He told her how he's always lucky. What were the odds of pulling that card, Bob? I swear I saw on TMZ the odds of picking that card seem really weird, man. Really strange. Mama Breaks was posting small cards on her IG and then recently just went to a whole new level, posting hit after hit. Yeah, that's what I observed. And she followed me on Instagram the other day after I tagged her saying, hey, look, Mama Breaks is a nice person, but it's weird how she's getting the hits. And eventually, a few days after she unfollowed me, I think some people told her that I'm a troll, this and that. But, like, tell me, what's the math of her getting hit after hit? Right? Like I said, I look at behavior. If Michael Rubin is with her in a huge reel on Instagram, very popular CEO, why is that? Is there an agenda to that? I'm just asking questions, right? It's funny, I don't hear about people weighing paxes or boxes anymore because they're doing it behind closed doors and they're not admitting it. Babu's, oh boy, man. I told my wife about a loaded box. She thought I was talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken. Oh man, oh man. Ken forgot his rabbit foot and we're breaking with those Pokemon boxes with Logan Paul. Refresh my memory. What are you talking about? I do know that the Pokemon boxes with Logan Paul was that with Shine and Card Kahuna. Are you talking about that one? Because I don't remember off the top of my head. I do believe that Logan Paul was breaking with Shine, and Shine was, and what was it called? Logan Paul and Shine were trying to get into the sports card hobby, or Shine was trying to get Logan Paul into the sports card hobby, whatever it was, right? It's something was definitely up with that Pokemon thing last year, though. Some hankus pankus, in my opinion. In my lifetime, I've probably bought 500 hobby boxes from LCS, never hit anything over 3K. Yeah, I believe these breakers get loaded boxes. Yeah, that's what I think too. SCR did a video live, and they said that the people on Dave and Adams back in the day, they admitted to him that, hey, look, there's some hankus pankus going on. And there's a lot of, loaded boxes, and some of these breakers get preferential treatment. So because they have the most views, so they want to load it to them. And I'm going to be researching some of these other breakers and the odds of them picking these cards up. And the good thing is now Topps releases the odds. Now it's not perfect, those numbers, because once every time a box is opened, the probability becomes a little higher of pulling that card. Maybe not so much, but it slightly changes. So the odds they give on the checklist, that is the checklist, or that is the probability of opening the card if no other boxes have been opened. So that's the flaw when they come up with these probability numbers. But still, it's really, it won't change it once, one box or two boxes open, though. Imagine 1/1 AIH card. Yeah, that would be fun. Hankus Pankus. In search of a Charizard, he broke a dud box, then went half with Logan on his personal box. Another dud, tried a third time, but Logan wised up. Okay. I don't remember that. First edition box is not cheap. Okay. The state of breaking is very bad. Yeah. Like, I wish, what's his name? Rattle Pokemon did sports cards, because he would examine these people on Whatnot. If he's noticing all this hanky pankus on Whatnot for Pokemon, what's going on with sports cards? No one has the time to watch these videos, like Sports Card Radio was saying, these live streams. Most breaks are just boring, unprofessional, or uninformed. Well, if some of these Blez brothers start dancing in those videos, will people go to their breaks? I don't know. Who knows? Has anyone asked for your autograph at a show yet? No, but people have asked to take pictures with them. I was surprised, people at the National, a lot more people than I thought would came up to me. I don't have a big channel, but I guess people appreciate the content of calling it out. You got any 1/1s? Asking a friend. No, I do not have those 1/1 superfractors. Bob Boozle, wife jokes, here for the jokes. Bargain Boxer, weren't you at the National, and didn't you call Great Curator the Great Urinator? Can you confirm that? The hobby needs John Reckoning breaks. Entertainment value priceless. That would be an interesting break to watch. He'd just be cursing everybody out and then talking about his MJ story. Very interesting. Breakers are raking it in. They're all making money right now. Are you sure about that? Because there's rumblings that, they buy into their own breaks and then they sell it off. I'm just thinking, how much fraud has happened in the past year because prices have gone down? When you see that, how many people are buying into their own breaks? What do they do with those cards? I mean, look at Shayway Vlogs. Even though he's not a breaker, he was shilling his own cards. He was buying high-end cards, right? And then he started to shill on eBay. I don't know when he started to shill. Now what happens on a platform like PWCC where it's really hard to find out if someone shills? That's what I'm interested about. Did he call Curator urinator to his face? In fact, did call him the Great Urinator, and he said, "Fuck you, man. He knows me." Oh, man. I did talk to Murley that day. I should have been to him at the National. Hey, how much did you buy that rock card for? Can I film you? I'm staging content. Maybe next time. He could come on live. All right, you stupid mofo losers. Here we go. I would watch that, man. I would definitely watch that. I did say to his face, I also sang the B-side song to Jeff Wilson and his punk ass kid. Oh, man. Oh, man. I remember one of my contacts, he said that he was at a hotel lobby and he just brought his stereo and then he just started blasting B-sides music. Will the market boom again if we have another lockdown? I think the market's going to boom again when interest rates go lower. Talking about the big boy breakers, Leighton, Blez, etc. Yep. What I find interesting about Leighton, I even emailed them for confirmation or just to see, that story that Sports Car Radio talked about, where they received or they allegedly used Peach Street's address for the PPP loan. I don't even know if Peach Street is even operating today. Like, what was that all about? That's what I'm interested, to be honest. My wife and I are gonna break bags of fast food live at Weight Watchers meeting. We will scam those plumbers. I saw a curator card show today. Him and Cabana Boy Merle had no one looking at their crappy overpriced cards. Sad. What about their like type 1, type 2, type 3 things that they talk about a lot? Merle was trying to explain to me at the National what that was all about. Oh boy. Oh man. Oh man. Oh man. I know Curator's married. And I know that Merle apparently has a girlfriend, so yep. It is what it is. It is what it is. Oh man. Wow, you should have got this on tape, man. That would have been great. Great for content. That would have been nice. I I think I should have interviewed Curator that day. He wouldn't have done it. Oh man, or should I? Oh man, bargain boxer, bargain boxer. Oh man. Oh, good lord. But anyways, it's getting late, and wait, hold on. Oh man, I think that video that Reckoning did uh, that got removed. If you were talking to that, I was so disappointed. MTG line, Umo never got his card breaks off the ground. I think he's really busy with what he does. I think he does a lot of things. He's a patent lawyer. He's a marketing guy. He's a YouTuber. He doesn't have the time. I don't do content. DPZ says we need to stop listening to influencers. Didn't DPZ say that there's too much negativity at one point? Like, they're changing their ways, right? They're trying to do what freaking like Radio Dan and me and others on Instagram. They figured out, hey, look, if they become more moderate, or kind of like us, but not fully, that's going to help them, especially when car prices have gone down. Like, they need to at least say, hey, look, these channels talking about this, they were right to point it out, but now they're trying to mimic what I've been saying way before these guys were. You see it all around. They want to be more vigilant, but they can't because of corporate sponsors, or they don't want to piss off the wrong person. That could help them in the long run. But anyways, it was nice talking to all of you. Maybe next time I'm going to have a guest on. But anyways, I'll talk to you later. But hold on, let's look at this last comment. Over under 6 months for Shies. Welcome back to the industry by the good old boys. Go. Oh man. So El- Eliant, I think it's Imperial Sports Cards. For those that don't know what Gora means, it means all those good old boy white influencers. That's what he's saying. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, Don Diego wasn't kicked out of the hobby. People on the Mastro list are in the hobby that were shill bidders, or allegedly shill bidders are in the hobby. The Slab Strong guy or Slab, whatever, not Slab Strong, but that dude that shill bid on his mom's account. So yeah, he's in the hobby. But anyways, I'll talk to you all later. Good night, all.